Alright, so here's a recording or notes over solving inequality systems. What you'll be able to do is to graph and identify the solution of a system of inequalities. The idea here is that this is backing up or just going back over the notes that you've already gone over in class, so you're reviewing these if you need that extra help. Okay, so for our first example, we're going to talk about y is less than or equal to 2x plus 4 and y is greater than or equal to x plus 1. Now keep in mind that if you need to shade above, you've got the greater than or equal to symbol. Shade below is the less than or equal to symbol. A broken line is just the greater than or less than symbol. And then a solid line is the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to symbol. Lines underneath give you a solid line, no lines, broken line. Point to the left, shade below, point to the right, shade above. So going back to this problem, we want to keep in mind, what do we start with? We always start off with the y-intercept. This is in the format of y equals mx plus b. So we start off with the y-intercept, start at plus 4. Then we're going to go 2 up and 1 across because remember, if there's no fraction, we make it into a fraction. The next one we start at 1. We go 1 up, 1 across, like that. Both of those are solid lines. So notice how I graph these first, then I would do my shading. The first one says shade below, and the next one says shade above. And so you can see right there, they are crossing in that little section right there. What you are concerned about is just where they cross. So the rest of the green and red shading that's not crossing where the orange is, doesn't matter. All you care about is that little orange section that's where it cross shades. Okay, so next problem. 3/4 x plus 1, negative 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, so I would start off with a plus 1, go up 3 over 4, broken line. Then the next one I start off at positive 3 and I'm going down to 3 to the right. And then I would do my shading. The green one shades above because it's a greater than symbol. The maroon one shades above also because it's a greater than or equal to symbol. And you can see they cross in this little section right there. Okay, so that's pretty much what you need to be able to do, and we can kind of go from there. Now keep in mind again, we had this. Also keep in mind, okay, y equals mx plus b means diagonal line. Okay, you're going to get some type of diagonal line. But y less than or y equal to some number is a horizontal line, and x equal to some number is a vertical line. So you need to make sure you remember those. Especially because the x equals a horizontal line is very hard to graph on calculator. So the next one, we have y greater than 2 and x less than negative 2. Okay, y greater than 2 is a horizontal line at 2. Notice it's broken because there was no line underneath. X less than negative 2 is a vertical line at x equals negative 2. Keep in mind, the x line crosses the x-axis, the y line crosses the y-axis. Then when you do the shading, you would find out that the cross shading is right there in the top left corner. So keep in mind again, y and a number is just a horizontal line, x and a number is a vertical line. Okay, so next example. Decided to change some slides up and go over here. So now we're looking at y is greater than 2/3 x minus 4 and y is less than or equal to 2/3 x plus 5. So the 2/3 x minus 4, I want to notice these are going to be parallel lines. I would start at negative 4, go up 2 over 3. The other one I would start at positive 5 and go up 2 and over 3. Make my lines. Now, how do I shade? That one's supposed to be a solid line, by the way, the top one. Well, the bottom one needs to shade above, so I need to shade above. And the top one should be shade below. Let me redo this. So this one right here, the bottom one is shade above. The top one shades below. And you can see they intersect in the middle. Wrong button. So they intersect in the middle. So that would be the solution graph. Every point in that where they cross shade is considered an answer. I don't worry about this part right here. I'm trying to erase that as best I can. Or this part up here. Okay, that's all I'm concerned is what I have right there. Okay, so that shading in the middle is like that. Sometimes it could be that they shade both cross in the top, they both cross in the bottom. That's possible, or they could go in opposite directions, which would mean no solution. So keep that in mind. Okay, so final example that I want to go over talks about this, and this looks like a lot of stuff, but let's go back here a second. Okay, so let's go back. In standard form, I showed you that there's an A, B, and a C, and that the x-intercept was C divided by A, the y-intercept was C divided by B, and the slope was negative A over B. So if I wanted to, like on the first equation, notice these are in standard form, I can divide. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3. And because there's a negative in front of that y, they're going to, the inequality would switch directions. So you're actually going to shade this one as a greater than. And the slope would be negative 3 over negative 4, which would become positive 3/4. The other one, slope, the x-intercept is 28. The y-intercept is 7. 28 divided by 1 is 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And then the slope would be negative 1/4. Negative 1/4. Now the reason why we do this, I mean you can solve for y, but I'm also showing you how to get the x and y intercepts. I'm going to use I could use just the y-intercepts and the slopes, or I could use x and y-intercepts. Which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to regraph this. The first one, since both the intercepts would fit onto the graph, I'm just going to graph the intercepts. The second one, I don't have an intercept. I couldn't go all the way out to 28, so I'm going to do the y-intercept at 0.7, and then the slope negative 1/4. Make my line, and then do my shading. Remember, because there was a y in front. I'm going to go back a little bit. Because there was a y in front, or negative in front of that 4y on the top equation, I actually had to graph the opposite way. So instead of shading below, I had to shade above. So both of those end up shading above, and you can see it like that. You can do this again on the calculator. You would see both of them there, and I will show that to you all tomorrow. But if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. And that's it for today. Thank you very much.